Hello and welcome back to the Schooner Pod. I'm Bobby Howard. With me today, we've got Jamison, Maxwell, Ty Lee, and folks, the era of the Big 12 is over.
Oh, man.
It's SEC country now, folks. The Oklahoma Sooners have joined the Southeastern Conference officially on July 1st. And we're cruising. We got stuff going on. And it was a incredible 2 days, or basically 24 hours of celebration. And I'm excited to talk about it with you guys. But because I'm typically can slot into the host role, and y'all, because one of y'all is a noted DC insider, insider Jamison Maxwell, and the other is an Arizona turquoise salesman, turquoise leather shop, business is booming, Ty. Since y'all were there, I kind of don't want to just talk about it and have y'all sit here. So we're gonna kind of kick off some of the hosting duties, y'all. But
no, I kind of wanted Bobby just to talk the whole podcast, and we just sit there and smile.
I mean, that sounds great to me. I'm cool with it. But no, guys, it was a really cool event, and just all overall. And how crazy is it that OU's in the SEC? What was the moment that kind of surprised y'all the most of all of it?
I don't know, Ty. Is it Bobby doing the 5K? Just him in general? That has nothing to do with OU joining the SEC. Just an extremely surprising event.
That was definitely on the slate to ask Bobby about. But are you talking about the move at all, Bobby, or are you talking about the festivities? What do you mean was the most surprising part of?
Like for me, like it was just truly shocking pulling up to the stadium for the 5K and seeing like the SEC flags on the stadium. But specifically being like, that is an LSU flag on top of our scoreboard. Mm-hmm. That's really weird. Stuff like that. Have there been any like aha moments for y'all of like, wow, this is actually happening?
Yeah, I have. Jamison, do you have one?
No, because I feel like we've been in this reality for the past couple of years.
Yeah.
Am I wrong about that?
I'm sorry. I think it's a terrible time. I think it's a terrible time to take a drink.
Well, Ty goes like, I have one. And then didn't have one. So I'm not sharing it. No. I get that it's been like, we've been in the reality and everything, but like the official flip over has been a little weird to me. Not weird, but like kind of like, wow, okay.
I do think... I think Jamison and I maybe like we didn't get to go to the festivities like I'm sure many of the listeners. So obviously not seeing it. You can see the pictures and stuff, but those have, a limited impact. Seeing the pictures of the flags or the flags on campus or the SEC sign so up on the north end of the stadium, in between the field house and the stadium, that stuff was neat, but it's, again, it hasn't super jumped out. This is not, I know this wasn't in the spirit of your question, Bobby, but probably the thing that's jumped out to me the most is the way that some of the SEC fan bases are acting about it is just crazy to me. Like Tennessee fans and like Missouri fans. And so people that have just been irrelevant in the conference for forever seem to be talking the most crap about it, which is certainly interesting, especially coming from like Missouri. A&M, I'm a longtime A&M sympathizer here from me, and they haven't really been talking too much about OU, so I'll give them a pass. But yeah, Tennessee fans, especially, and Missouri fans, just actually crazy the way they're acting after one upset.
I mean, are you surprised, though? We're the new kids in school. Whenever the new kids in school come in, we're the target. It's as simple as that. And until we go out and show out, we're going to continue to be the target. If we go first year and we do not do well, we are going to be far in the dumps. We're legitimately our teammate grade right now. I've been playing a lot of NBA 2K. If you haven't figured it out so far, it's very, very vulnerable to where if we do very poorly at the beginning of this game, the beginning of this SEC tenure, our teammates grade is going to tank. But if we start going the right direction early, things will change and change quickly. And those Tennessees, those Texas A&Ms, those Missouris who have been very mid in the conference for many years now, they'll go back to their mid-level and we can go into the upper echelon. But it means a lot of how we're going to do this first year.
I agree. And I feel like not only first year, but first SEC game being Tennessee. that exact program, that Ty's talking about chirping. And I've seen more Tennessee chirp in Texas than anything.
They have been chirping Texas more. It's odd. It is odd the way that they're chirping. Obviously, Bama fans real quiet since they really only had like 10,000 fans before Nick Saban, and now they don't have Nick Saban, so they don't actually have that many fans anymore. They had a big, a lot of them enter the portal, but I think they see the writing on the wall. And look, and I've been a long time Bama sympathizer, right? It's just I don't know that they made the right hire at coach. So
how many? This is the second team you've been like.
I have been. The worst. This is not a bit. You know that I've been an excuser of Bama for many years now.
That's not excusing. That's just being like, oh yeah, they're really good.
No, you just like picking them like minus 46.5 week 1 against the spread. That doesn't mean that you're a sympathizer.
Those are like the only ones I get. Those are like the only ones I get right. No, I was one of the people who like for decades it'd be like Clemson or whoever else is facing them in the national championship, and I'm like, give me another one for Bama. Give me another one. Like I was not rooting for anyone but Bama.
Well, that is so proud and so brave of you for supporting the Nick Saban Alabama teams. Really, you really going out on a limb there to voice your support for Alabama.
I completely forgot what I was even going to say.
We're talking about Tennessee fans chirping.
Well,
I wanted to say a lot of it.
Yeah. But you'd think I understand why they're chirping Texas mostly. They have that whole like who's the real UT thing, which is just odd. I don't understand why they both can't be or whatever, but I forgot where I was going with this. I don't like the Tennessee fans.
No, this is good.
I have some more talking points on it.
No, I love beef. I love chirping.
Beef is great.
This is the best thing moving into this conference because we're going to have a lot of different, games on the road this season where OU fans are going to be in a big time, they're going to be a big time show out, So I like this. I want a little bit of beef. I want people to be a little bit nervous about us coming through. This is great. And I want to be nervous about it too. That's when sports is at its most fun. The regular season in the Big 12, you might hear a little bit of chirp from TCU. You might hear a little bit of chirp. Texas, you always hear chirp. But like, who else? Like, Iowa State, but like, still, this is something new and different. And I love this.
TCU chirp is like you're at your nice. I actually had this happen with an SMU fan last season who. Because it's SMU, he was in fact an esteemed medical doctor. But it's like you're in the lobby of your like nice office building. Everyone's dressed nice. You're going to your job, and then someone's like, "Oh, like we're playing you this weekend." It's my alma mater. My son is there now. Like I'm excited to see how we perform. Blah blah blah. Like it's like with professional adults having a conversation as they go to their jobs. Tennessee fans, it's like. We're not going to get into, we're not going to shame, but, it's not, they're not, I don't even know if many of them have jobs. So it's a different mentality.
Well, it's different because it a lot of the fan bases, in the Big 12, it's like you were saying, it's like a hobby almost. The SEC, it's like, I don't want to say it means more, but it kind of, it really does. It's it's truly like a lifeblood situation, and I feel like Oklahoma kind of fits with that. And one of the things I saw that I thought was funny, SEC Mike from that SEC show, who I actually ran into at one of the events, he tweeted out a thing. He said he noticed an OU fan walking over to a Texas flag because they had all of the SEC like schools represented. OU fan walks over, rips out the Texas flag, and just throws it on the ground and just walks off. And everyone was commenting, "Oh, they're ready. They fit. This makes sense." Because they're immediately just like OU fans just immediately are like, out here causing mischief, disliking, other teams like that. Like it fits, it fits with a conference where they made a 30 for 30 about a tree poisoning. I think OU does make a lot of sense and really does fit in with a lot of the culture that these SEC fan bases have, Jamison. And
so we need more mischief, is what you're saying, Bob.
I'm all in. Yeah, we do need more mischief. We need to be a little rowdier. We need to crank it up a little bit.
Well, you think we get that from our Gooners out there, but really the perception of what Oklahoma fans are nationally, I would feel like is not that rowdy of fans.
I mean, I would agree. I think, but I think this is an opportunity to turn it up because, I mean, what are you going to do when you're playing Baylor, a bunch of, not small private schools, in Texas and little, Midwestern colleges. It's a little different, when your best game of the season might be a top 24 game, like top 25 game, like playing 23 Iowa State, as your best home game. It's different now that you're having big challenges come to town.
Yeah, it's going to break us, and that's exactly what you need. We are just but a nut, and we need to get broken, and you can see the inside. You can see the fruit of things.
This is wild podcast from Jamison. So
welcome to July 2nd.
What was I going to say? I would love to run it back towards the 5K, but I do have one more thing here before we get into it. Hey, Jamison, you mentioned you want to be kind of afraid for matchups. Or you're kind of Bobby removed both.
No, I removed I entered solo layout, so I removed both of you.
He said enough time. I'm doing a solo monologue about this event. So you're kind of frightened. You're kind of apprehensive for Tennessee, Tennessee specifically. Yes,
yeah,
you are.
Tennessee's a good
Not
team.
Tennessee specifically, but
I'm nervous about Tennessee.
Then why isn't Josh Heupel our coach? Why is Venables our coach, and why isn't Josh Heupel our coach?
We can still be the favorite, and I can still be frightened. Like, they're still a very quality team, one of the more underrated teams coming into this offseason. They're getting absolutely disrespected in the preseason top 25 polls. They got one of the better young quarterbacks coming into the fold in terms of Nico Imalivi. Like we got some really stiff competition in our conference schedule, and I feel like Tennessee is not nearly talked enough about.
Right. No, I agree. I think Tennessee is a lot better than you're giving them credit for, Ty. I like that's a pretty solid team right there. And you want to talk about disrespect? Look at the EA Sports rankings for Tennessee, Jamison. Like Tennessee wasn't even on them.
Proven to be dumb.
I know they're garbage. They're garbage, but look, everything could be disrespect cards. If you want to pull them. So
yeah, and this team's gonna be good. You got Squirrel over there too. That I feel like Squirrel is just gonna take us out and just destroy us for Tennessee. So I'm nervous about that game. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, Tennessee's gonna be. That's gonna be a massive one. I'm excited for that, to say the least.
You guys went from we need to be a little bit more rowdy to immediate hedging and appeasement.
I'm not saying we should be.
No, you asked me if I was nervous.
The fifth or sixth best team on our schedule.
That's also. Would they be? Like that's the thing that's so tough about the schedule.
The schedule.
Tennessee might be the fifth toughest team on the slate.
So for sure, Ole Miss, for sure, Alabama, for sure, LSU above them, and then I'd say Missouri above them.
Texas,
and then Tennessee, and then Texas. So that's Tennessee would be 6.
Exactly.
That doesn't show. You're just playing. You're playing like relative here. Obviously, they're still.
I'm not. I made that number up without knowing who was on.
Relative to our schedule, they might not be like on the upper part of it, but still, they're still a really damn good team. I think.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I think they're a very solid team. That's definitely going to be a big one, and they're going to bring a lot of fans. And I think it's going to be an awesome, just incredible atmosphere. To say the least, we've really kind of got off of it a little bit.
Let's talk about the 5K, Bobby. You ran in the 5K. Tell me everything about it. Did you have
medal? Right?
Did you have to stop and walk, or did you finish the whole thing?
Oh no, I walked a good amount of that, but it was still really nice. It was a brisk walk. I went into that just kind of being like, you know what, I'm going to, just try to enjoy it. Really soak up the campus. Just take it.
Tell me about the route. Where did you start and where did you go through?
Yeah, so we started. It was the corner of Brooks and Jenkins. So right by where the north, the party at the palace sort of thing usually goes on, the little outdoor thing on the north lawn of the stadium. So we ran all the way up to like, I'm blanking so hard. Boyd took a left, just kind of this giant block all the way around. But we were supposed to run around, and then we like looped around the South Oval and the little Van Fleet loop that's kind of by, right by the stadium before finishing on the 50, which was just awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
I like that.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. It was just good to be back on campus. A lot of good memories, of course, and it was really fun.
Did they have
And
little
then-
stations along the run that you could indulge yourself?
They had one water station, and it was run by the Roughnecks, which was not very good because they didn't know what they were doing. They had they didn't do like the little Gatorade cups of water. It was like these little, best way I can describe them is like little Jello shot containers of water.
Oh my god!
Yeah, so
that's just to wet your mouth.
Yeah, it was. It was the
Wet
only
your
stop
whistle.
on the way. It was on the North Oval. So, that was not ideal, but we made it work. So I thought the 5K was really fun, really good turnout. It was packed, honestly.
Yeah, and I was surprised of how many people I saw on social media that went through for the 5K, then went to sleep, and then came back the next day.
Yeah, I don't know how I did it, honestly, because I did the.
That's what most people do overnight, Jamison.
I don't know.
I know you're a DC Insider lizard person. You don't know that, but most human people, they do something and then that night they go to bed and then the next day they do something else.
Yeah, but no, the 5K was fun. It was it was a good time. It was really cool running through the tunnel and all of that. Having a beer on Owen Field, that was a pretty good experience. I gotta say that was pretty neat. And then the next morning, waking up and try to go straight through to the wake up in the SEC event at the Toby Keith thing. That wasn't bad. Toby Keith's I Love This Bar and Grill or whatever. It was neat. It was just kind of neat. Heard from a couple people. I think most of the good coaches were in Tulsa. We got KJ Kindler and Patty Gasso, who were great, but I don't really know if I wanted to hear from Porter Moser that day. No disrespect to Porter, but I don't know. So that was a pretty neat little turnaround. Very exhausting, but not too bad. So,
yeah, I think that was a fun day for many, but I was disappointed, Bobby. And you want to know why I was disappointed?
Because Texas got Pitbull?
Yes, that's exactly right. Because Texas got Pitbull, and I was waiting for the big show out. What were we going to do to respond to them? And what did we do? Nothing.
We did a drone show that
I don't care. If they say they're getting Pitbull, you bring in Flo Rida. You bring in Baby Bash. You bring in somebody.
Baby Bash. Hey, okay, so they had
Soldier Boy. I don't care. You give them back someone.
They had this so-called band performing.
They play at the deli every other week.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. It was like the deli outdoors. I will say, it was not the best programming, but it was a cool event. Like having it on the field was neat, and all of that was fine. And apparently, they're doing something for the students a little bit closer to them being on campus. That will be like have an actual artist. But we'll see how that goes.
We're gonna lower the ACT requirements. In honor of the SEC.
There's going to be an artist. Now, Bobby, is this going to be a pop, rap, country, honky tonk, badonky donk? What are we thinking?
Because we're saying the students, it might be someone actually kind of fun. And we've seen OU do it in the past, kind of. They did Flo Rida that one time at the Lloyd Noble, so I don't know if we'll do that.
Another esteemed artist that Lloyd Noble was good enough for, but apparently not our basketball team. They can't make the tournament. So,
I think honestly, the presence of Flo Rida, really just tells you need to do something else. But no, I don't know. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah,
But
I mean, what else was cool about being down there other than just, seeing SEC? Was there like any fun event that you thought that they did a good job with?
so I missed Feinbaum. I did wait in the my God, the summer surplus sale thing was crazy.
Oh, was it legit?
Yeah, there were people. So there are people who were in line since Friday to get in line for this thing. I kid you not. It was a bit of a gulag of a wait. So I got in line. I met up with some friends in line at like 1:30, and we didn't get in line till like 3:30. So it was torturously hot out there. By the time we got in, the only size available were like 3X's for stuff, but like a lot of baseball jerseys. I wouldn't have waited in it if I were too far back, but it was just that was really neat. It's worth it if it's a smaller line, I guess, or if you really are into getting cheap deals on everything. Unfortunately, the $2 singlets were unavailable. I was going to get some for y'all and ship them out your way so you didn't
wrestling singlets.
Wrestling singlets, $2 wrestling singlets. I didn't want y'all to feel left out, but they were all gone. So, man,
I understand why those went quickly. That's a deal.
I should have shown you dude. I should have shown you you would have loved it. I got a OU baseball jersey for $25.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I think I saw a picture of you wearing it.
Yeah, it was pretty nice. So they'll probably do that next year too, but.
Did they have any deals on attorneys?
No.
Ollie Gordon could have used one.
Hey-oh. Nice. That's funny.
No, but he gets the Big 12 point in one. He doesn't get to get the SEC ones.
Yeah. So like that was fun, and then afterwards we went to O'Connell's. So I feel bad that like Ocon's might have been the best part of the day, but also it was a pretty good Ocon's day. So,
did you leave before the event was completely over?
The surplus sale, or
I leaving before an event is over to go to Ocon's.
There's a difference between a drone show and melting it out of the stadium.
It's entertainment product at the stadium. Product at the stadium.
I was also like. I was sitting on the grass about to fall asleep, Ty. I got like 4 hours of sleep. It was awful.
This sounds pretty one-to-one to the student section.
Okay.
I'm hungover. I'm tired. I got 4 hours of sleep. This is absolutely boring. I want to go to Ocon's.
I will say one thing that was great. Love's Field, incredible, man.
I bet.
We did the open house of that. It was shockingly you could tell they put like a ton of effort, a lot of work into it. It was very nice. So shout out to you with that. If it ever comes
open, just walking around campus the whole time. Did you hop in your car? Or did you just take the walks around?
I parked in the duck pond lot at like 12:30 and didn't get back till I left. So
nice.
Yeah, but it was a fun event. A lot of people out here, chiming in, doing some stuff. So trying to see if we have any questions. 1982 met Feinbaum yesterday, which is pretty great.
I saw the picture 1982. That was great.
Love that. They did have a little like SEC house that you went into that he brought up where I got this hat. I did not pay for the SEC network hat. So Blake out here being like, oh, you gave money to the mouse for a hat. I didn't do that. That was fun. So it was pretty neat.
Mm-hmm. Now it looked like a good time, and all in all, it kind of scratches your itch just a little bit. Like we're just in the tough times of all sports right now, man. Like we need the Olympics pronto because the beginning of July is just tough, and so that was a fun thing to look at, and looking at the Man in Black doing his whole thing on the promo video. That was fun to see, and then obviously Joe Castiglione talking about one of the coaches, a former coach that didn't really approve or want this move to the SEC. That was fun. A lot of fun things to read up on and watch and kind of get you pumped up, getting ready for the fall.
Yeah. the Lincoln, or what could only be assumed as a Lincoln comment, was great. Or, I mean, technically it could have been Lon Kruger.
Lon Kruger.
Lon
That's what I was
Kruger.
going to say. Just a Lon Kruger jab for no reason.
He was the biggest one. He wanted to get out of there.
Lon Kruger's old ass couldn't handle the SEC. No, I got to give it up to Joe Castiglione for finally kind of people on Twitter, I think, referred to him as break character and decide to talk shit about Lincoln. Like that was pretty good. That was pretty great. Love to see that.
I think he also gave Paul Feinbaum one of his fedoras, or
He
maybe
did.
just. I didn't know if it was a permanent gift, but I did enjoy that. That is like that's like the key to the city in Norman. If you get Joe Castiglione's fedora,
I think he intentionally bought him one. He was like, "Yeah, I got you one of these, because both of us are bald." So
that is a key to the city. There's no doubt about it.
Which is great. Paul in the comments asked, "What game's a trap game for OU this
Tennessee.
year?"
Yep.
I know you said Tennessee in the chat, but
okay,
is Tennessee a chance
like
actually a trap
against
though?
us.
You got to think about a team that we're going to be like
favored-
well favored against. It's a trap. You can't
How
say
is that
Missouri's
Tennessee?
a trap.
We're not well
You can't
favored
say
against
LSU is a
Tennessee.
trap. Yes, we're going to be we're going to be like a 4 or 5 point favorite versus Tennessee. I bet that's what the line's going to be.
Do you
I don't
think
even know
there's
if the
any
line's still out.
chance? Do you think there's any chance of Houston or Tulane? Like, I mean, if they are, then we are really
Maybe.
screwed.
Maybe.
Willie Fritz gave us trouble. He's at Tulane, he's at Houston now. Tulane's given us trouble, but Willie Fritz is, not there. He's in Houston, so that'll be interesting to see.
I mean, it's probably. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good.
No, it's got to be Auburn, right? First conference road game.
I mean,
I'd
that's
agree
another
with that.
option.
Actually, first road game, period.
Yeah, no, I think Auburn is. It's tricky because it's a bit of a test and a trap. Because
I think it's trap. You have look ahead to Texas. Obviously, there's a bye week in between, but
I'm interested to see how they come out against South Carolina. Like, just because that's when the grind kind of starts. I don't think it's a trap necessarily, but at that point, you'll have played 3 SEC games, and the meat of the schedule starts to kind of start coming at you. So I'm intrigued to see how that works. But
I got a question for you. What do you feel more confident about, Auburn or Tennessee?
It should be Auburn, but it's Tennessee.
Yeah, so do you know what those lines are? We got some out already for DraftKings. I've got to pull it up. Take a guess. Give me your first guess of what Tennessee is, and give me your next guess of what Auburn is.
I think Tennessee is OU -5.
Okay.
And I think Auburn OU -1.5.
Okay, Ty, what do you got?
I mean, I'm notoriously bad at picking the lines, right? So I'll say Tennessee OU -2.5, Auburn OU -8.5.
Okay, so you're good. OU is -3 versus Tennessee. You did a good job on that one, Ty. Auburn, it's -2.5. So it's pretty close here. So Vegas kind of thinks that those games are like toss up for what's going to be tougher for OU. So I think both of those are a correct answer in terms of, I guess, a trap. But if you're within a field goal, is that really a trap? That's still like a toss-up kind of game.
Yeah, that's not a trap. It has to be in my mind, it's got to be someone you'd be at least a touchdown favorite against.
And the thing is, like, I don't know why, but I thought we'd have at least a little bit more of a buffer versus Tennessee by the way all of the nation right now is treating Tennessee. So I don't really understand that line currently right now. I mean, obviously Vegas doesn't have to be associated with the media. I understand Vegas and the media are two separate things. But usually the media can at least, especially these people, can kind of catch on to these lines and kind of formulate their opinions of teams by that. So I think that's very interesting.
Something just came to mind, Jamison. I think I got a question for you here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything positive to say about OU, or is it just Tennessee, this podcast?
Oh my God. Noted Tennessee.
I think that there's a real conversation to be had that Jackson Arnold might not be the best quarterback in that game.
I mean, I think that's fair.
Because it's going to be Josh Heupel.
Josh Heupel. Do you think
Get him out there.
Is there going to be any? Do you think OU dares attempt to kind of honor Josh Heupel in any way? Like,
if I would like that to happen. I think that'd soften him up, and I think if we lose to Tennessee, Venables should be tarmacked on the spot, even though it's home, so he's not flying anywhere. And then we should offer Josh Heupel like on the field. Josie should come out like Venables. The second the clock tick downs, you're fired to Venables. Doesn't even get to run out there. Consiglione runs out and offers Josh Heupel a contract.
Oh, gross.
So, okay, speaking of Venables, because of course he's not going to get fired.
I have an answer before we pivot to this. Trap game I'm most afraid of. I got to get it out there before we move on. It's got to be the SEC championship before we roll into the playoffs.
The first playoff game.
The semifinal game. We're just going to be laser focused on that, Natty.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Take it game by game. I'm not going to look in the future. I'm just going to take this week's task and I'm going to complete them. We're going to move on to the next one. We're just going to iron sharpen iron, We're going to keep on going.
The Verbo Fiesta Bowl is my trap game. No. Obviously, long way for OU to go for that.
My personal trap game is every week's wild card pick on the weekend spread.
That's a pretty good one.
Have y'all seen week 0 slate? It's bad, man.
Good.
That's good. That's good.
As in, like, there aren't lines for most of the games because they're all like, FCS. We only have 2 games with lines right now.
So I'm looking at it right now. Do we have Delaware State at Hawaii? No. Florida State at Georgia Tech. Yes. Ooh, I like that game. That's a wonderful game. That's really good. Montana State at New Mexico. That could be kind of fun. SMU at Nevada.
Yeah, that is the other one with the lines. Is SMU Nevada?
I think Florida State at Georgia Tech is wonderful in Dublin. I mean, that's a beauty right there.
Oh, it'll be fun. It's just one game, so that's pretty great. It feels like it should be on a Thursday night in Atlanta. Instead, it's on a Saturday. Week 0 in Dublin. So
we got anything good that early? So in the Thursday of like week 1 college football, it looks like our best game that we got. And please correct me if I'm wrong. I see UNC Minnesota. I think that's like a decent game. Don't laugh. But we got Kansas playing at Lindenwood. Thoughts on that one?
No.
Jacksonville State, Coastal Carolina. That's actually good. That's actually good football.
That actually is a really good one for the group of 6 people.
So we have hype. We have definitely like a lot of hype for that game. So I'm fine with that.
Yeah, like the week one should be really fun. And I will say I'm actually considering trying to hit the Triple Crown of college football in Oklahoma because Tulsa plays on Thursday. They're doing a Jimmy Buffett night. $2 margaritas. On Jimmy Buffett night.
Of
course. We've all seen this. I knew this.
You got to stay at the casino up there.
So,
stay at the casino so you can only eat at the Margaritaville there.
Yeah, I've stayed at the casino and I've ate at the Margaritaville.
Go pure Buffett.
I'm not shocked that you're a big Margaritaville person, Jamison.
Oh, of course. That was a day where I was up there for a wedding and I was unattended for the whole afternoon. And I just spent a lot of time at Margaritaville Casino, lost money very quickly, went outside, sat in the sun without sunscreen. Man, what a bad day.
Anyways, so Tulsa plays Thursday. OU, of course, plays on Friday. And then Saturday, Oklahoma State plays the defending FCS champs, South Dakota State. So it could be, I don't know, could be
that'd be neat.
I'm considering it. It's on the table. But no, this thing's coming up pretty close. So I'm excited about it. Is there anything else people are chatting about? What else were we going to? Any other comments about everything with the SEC?
The move to the SEC?
Yeah. Let's talk about recruiting because I feel like it's been a while, Bobby. So are you ready for it?
Yeah, let's do it. Let me hit that video.
Jamison.
Yes.
What is this?
Jamison.
This is a
Fruited corner with Jamison.
Everybody dancing.
Oh, that's nice.
It's nice. And this year, maybe not have talked enough about recruiting. And that's okay. Well,
Jameson, your
Jameson,
mic,
your mic just went full robot mode. It was
Oh,
really,
does it still sound like a robot?
okay, you're
No,
better
it's
now.
fixed
You're
now.
better now.
Oh, well. That's kind of funny because it's legitimately a robot voice for my intro. So what a nice
No, it
transition.
just sounded,
sound better
sounded
now.
bad. It sounded like you swapped your AirPods or something.
Oh, really? Do I
You're
sound
good now. You're good now.
Okay. Well, let's just go back to it. So, this year in recruiting, people, it's not been as fun so far. Let's just be honest. But I'm not going to talk about our past commits. People that are paying attention to recruiting, they can look at our past commits. Go look in our on 3247. What people want to talk about right now, and what I kind of want to use this recruiting corner segment is, let's talk about the offensive line, because this is a position group for this, recruiting class that we really need to nail, because Beatenbow keeps getting all of these, positive rave reviews, like, oh, he puts guys in the league. But time and time again, he has struck out on 5-star after 5-star after big recruit. And we've, gotten guys like Anton Harrison, who was a borderline 4-star into the league and got a first-round pick. We got a transfer in Tyler Guyton as a first-round pick. But when was the last time we got a bona fide 5-star, an absolute, animal that we knew as soon as he stepped on campus, there was no doubt about it, he was going to be a first-round pick? We haven't had that in a while.
O-line?
Well, Caden Green wasn't even a 5-star. That's the thing. And he played guard. And so even though he's played so well, whenever you play guard, you're not, it's kind of difficult to be a guard and be a first-round pick. Like, you got to say a bona fide tackle. And in this class, there's a lot. And the kind of scary part about it right now is I feel like we should be a little bit nervous as Sooner fans that something might be happening again with this. So coming into this year, everyone was confident. You talk about these three names, Ty Haywood, I feel like most people talk the most about. He's number 8 overall nationally, according to On3. He's out of Denton Ryan. We've been doing really well in Denton recently. And we're like, okay, this is a guy who really likes OU. Now he's starting to lean Alabama. He was an Alabama fan growing up, and it seems like the tides have turned where a lot of people said this guy might be the guy that we most likely could get as a 5-star offensive tackle. It's really turning the tides towards Alabama. Other name, Andrew Babalola. He is a guy. He's a Kansas guy. We feel like we could do really well. He's the 14th player in the country on 3. Seems like Stanford and the academics have really pushed him towards that, and it seems like we've kind of fallen to the wayside there. That's okay. We still got one more guy that I feel like we could do, but this is the guy that I thought was going to be the hardest to get, Michael Fasusi, because, while he's also a 5-star offensive, tackle, we're having to go against Texas at Texas A&M. And whenever it comes down to that, that's always a really, really hard get, because you never know what Texas A&M is going to do, and they're going to come through like Ty's saying right now, give them some money, and we just automatically lose it at the end. We've seen that, 3 or 4 years now, 3 years in a row now from teams that have come in and really just absolutely stunned us for big defensive line / offensive line talent. So, I'm a little bit nervous when it comes down to it. So I think Fasusi is the guy that we have to really put ourselves in hope at the offensive tackle position of that. Could this be the 5-star guy, the group of 3 that we had dreamed of, that we at least get 1 or maybe even 2? This would be a great class. But coming down to it, you really got to cross your fingers and hope that we can beat out Texas and Texas A&M. When it comes down to just this, I wouldn't even consider this a consolation prize, but for something imminent coming through, all the talk right now at the offensive tackle position has been about Lamont Rogers. Lamont Rogers, he's 6'7", 300 plus pounds, absolute mammoth of a man. And he's coming down to a decision pretty soon, within the next month. So this is a guy that a lot of people think that OU's kind of in the lead for, but we are going to still be in a dog fight whenever it comes down to it. So you never know. Texas A&M is another big person in their picture there. So all this optimism that OU originally had, maybe if you talked 4-ish months ago at the offensive line recruiting position, it's starting to dwindle a little bit, and there's starting to be a little bit more of a bottleneck. If I really hope that we can get, at least Lamont Rogers, and hopefully maybe we could squeeze out Fasusi too.
Yeah, I accidentally backspaced there, so I missed some of it. But no, I mean, right now recruiting is at a place where I feel really good about it, but there's a lot of work to be done, and I think on the O line, that is a position of great need right now. Our line right now is not ideal, and you need legit O linemen to compete in the SEC, to compete against the D linemen, that talent that they have out there. So
yeah, and we still got a top 100 talent, Ryan Foje, coming in. So you got to be happy with that. But all in all, really, this recruiting class thus far, we've already got 20 commits. No one who's a breakaway top end 5-star talent, no doubt about it. And even though you're stacking 4-star after 4-star good talents with a lot of hope, you at least want, a couple of these guys that you can really lean on and be like, these guys, or for sures, you're the David Stone in last class. I would really want to get some of those guys in that class. And I feel like whenever you're looking at possibilities, offensive line with Fasusi and Lamont Rogers are really your best chances.
For sure. And I will say in the comments, Austin has a great comment. Someone I know well, someone who, look, if we want to talk about offensive line guys, this is the guy to talk about. He, has experience both playing and coaching linemen. Brought up a good point. He said, hard to put weight onto big O line recruits. So many dudes end up being NFL guys who just don't even start off college as an O line, let alone high school. Most of them are D line tight ends right now. Which is interesting.
You saw Tyler Guyton. So that's becoming the new thing. But at the same time, there's always these guys, like Caden Proctor right now, formerly of Iowa and formerly of Alabama, now Alabama. That's a guy that that's going to go to the league. It just would be nice to, have that for sure in your back pocket. That guy could be a 2 to 3 year starter, no doubt about it, in and out.
Just one of those, just absolute freak of nature.
Because we're going to always, Beat and Bo's going to bring in those guys, Austin. He's going to bring in, and take on these projects. And with the way that we develop offensive linemen, I believe in every single class, there's going to be a guy that comes out that his stock is going to rise up and he's going to become way better than what he was. We're going to get that. But at the same time, take it back to the past. Wouldn't it have been nice if we would have had Tristan Lee? I know he didn't really do much at Clemson, but that type of guy to come through, that would have been more fun. It would have been nice to have those kind of guys come through into this program. For
sure. And I they've been here in the past, obviously different era of college football. And, I will say it is great to have Beaton Bow, a guy who does really well at development. But no, I'm with you. It'd be cool to have a couple slam dunks on the roster as well.
Mm-hmm. So that's the big thing coming up right now in recruiting. And if you're just talking about maybe possible upcoming dates that mean something, Omarion Robinson, the safety, he's a guy that's announcing on July 6th. So we're recording on the 2nd. He's a heavy OU favorite. I feel like he would be the next guy to hop in the boat. So be on the lookout for that.
Sure. All right. Nice recruiting quarter there, Jamison. So
yeah, fingers crossed for Lamont Rogers. People have been saying that he could actually drop a commitment anytime this month. So fingers crossed there.
Nice. Okay, I remember what I was going to say earlier before closing the SEC aspect. I was going to say it, and then Ty brought up his what am I trying to say? His trap game. So Ty, I got to ask you. I'll start with you on this because I know you have an interesting take on this.
Okay.
OU extending Brent Venables another 2 years with a little bit of a pay raise, some to the tune of $400,000 a year. What do you think? I know you definitely have an interesting take on this.
Yeah. So one, we're not going to say why. We all know I can't say why on the podcast, but practically a $400K raise with inflation. We're not going to say why this is occurring. I've been removed from the pod. It is practically not a raise, right? The way that things are going. it's more of a formality. It's very clearly the right decision right now for OU. Right, we don't have the courage or the ability to afford the attorneys that we would need to go out and hire like Urban, who would get us a championship. So, like, the only practical thing that we can do, short of just continuing to try to recruit Saban, is to continue to commit and invest in Brent Venables, unless he loses to Tennessee, in which case we find out that we should have hired Heupel all along and just avoided this whole thing for the past couple of years. But all jokes aside, right, this is clearly the right decision. I obviously don't know all the factors behind the money. I would have given him more money, honestly. Because again, that's not $400,000 over the years that it increases. Is not really all that much when you're talking about a percentage of a multi-million-dollar contract. So I think it's unquestionably the right decision. Right now, we need this stability. We need this. We all knew that the last couple of years in the Big 12 obviously were flukes. I don't want to get into the argument with Bobby here on like how successful last season was. It was improved from the season before, but the season before was worse than it should have been, even with the cards that we were dealt. We shouldn't have lost to Arizona. That was absurd in the bowl game. But obviously, there's things to improve. The second year of a head coach, right? It takes a couple of years to develop a quarterback. Even it takes a long time to develop a head coach. So I think unquestionably the right decision. Love the vote of confidence. It's going to boost recruiting. It's going to boost everything that we need it to boost. This is Oklahoma. We want tenured coaches. We don't want what happened with Lincoln Riley and OU is the common thing that happens across college football. OU fans just aren't used to that. Even going back to like World War II, we're just not used to coaches being in the normal coaching, moving around carousel of jobs. We're used to practically tenured coaches at Oklahoma. And at least within the spectrum of college football. And that's what we want. So I think this is absolutely the right decision. And any time to make a decision on Brent Venables' performance and questioning that is certainly not before this season. After this season, we'll see how things pan out. But I think that obviously right decision by OU. And I don't think it's all that much money as some people were making it out to seem.
And I think that last point is the most interesting one is everyone – a lot of the reaction on social media from those outside of OU was pretty harsh on it. Like, what has he done? What did he do to deserve it? I think it's a light bump. It puts him at somewhere around like the 9th highest paid SEC coach. So, I mean, he's getting paid relatively modestly compared to the rest of the conference. And overall, more than anything, that one thing you said, there's something else in there you said that I thought was really important. Stability is so important with OU. And, I think part of it of, extending that out, being like, I think that helps in recruiting, being like, we got our guy. You're not going to, sign for this guy and then have to transfer out in a year or two because we're going to can him because we're going to tarmac him after 4 games.
At his home field,
driving out to the airport and be like, yeah, we're just gonna get some biscuits and gravy at the diner.
I'm gonna be in the stands and you're gonna hear a "We Want Heupel" chant coming from the student section that I will have incited.
That's R.I.P. Aussies.
Yeah, we're gonna be like, we're gonna go to Aussies, Brent. And he's like, didn't they close that like 5 years ago?
Oh no.
It's okay, buddy. It's okay. They're open. They open it up just for you.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. I just imagine Ty sitting in the student section with like, black fedora, glasses, trench coat, start chanting "Fire Heupel" or "Higher Heupel."
What is that? The master of whispers or whatever Ty is, just trying to go behind the scenes.
Yeah, just try to pull the strings. But no, I think it was a really good plan. Yeah. He's always done this. He did this with Stoops all the time because Tiglione did. I think pretty sure he did it with Lincoln at least once.
Oh, yeah. We do it with our assistant coaches every single offseason. This is just like a landlord, raising your rent. Or it's just what happens.
Yeah. It's a procedural thing.
What
was
that?
Disagree with that?
What in the world was that analogy? Extending someone's contract and giving them more money?
No, it's
kind of
like
the exact opposite, Jamison.
well, it's kind of similar, right?
It's kind of
They
it's kind
are
of like getting a
changing
raise
your
at
rent
your job.
according to what the climate and what's going on in terms of inflation. So they're adjusting. We are adjusting their contract.
Saying that we are renting our head coach is not stability that Bobby and I are talking about.
Whatever. There's going to be
fun.
someone who listens to this and they're going to be like,
we refinance the
I
mortgage.
get it.
We refinance the mortgage. You got to at least project stability here.
But for
This is
more
not-
expensive, that doesn't make sense either, Ty.
No.
It doesn't make sense to say you got your rent raised.
I said
on
it's
you.
kind of like it, okay? I'm just saying it's just a constant, just a little bit
No.
of a tweak.
Okay, well,
Jameson, this isn't like a waterbed. You can't finance it.
all
Oh, man.
podcasts
I heard really cool
talking
people do
great about Tennessee and then called Brent Venables a rental head coach.
I've been a little off the hinge this podcast. I'm not gonna lie.
It happens. Okay. Well, I think we covered about what we need to cover, but I will say last little comment here. 1982. He brought up that he started the SEC chant last night. He got to admit, not very impressed with the excitement level from the rest of Sooner Nation. I gotta say,
Monday.
well, I will say it was Monday. And I also will say, my belief, there was an SEC chant that Castiglione tried to start at one of the events. I'm not in it. I'm not about it. It doesn't feel like it.
Make you feel icky.
I think I'm a little out on it. I'm only at it if I'm trying to thumb. I like the spite SEC chant, whenever you're trying to mess with someone else. But I don't know if I love doing it. I don't know if I like doing it. I don't know. Maybe it's the years of the mock SEC chants on the other end, or part of it is just I don't know. It just didn't feel right. I don't know if it feels right yet for me.
It is a little communist. It is a little like we're going to ride on other people's, because, if you think back, right, it's never really the Bama and Georgia fans that are super hardcore into like the SEC stuff, because they're just like, we just built the reputation. It's like, I'm a Bama fan, I'm a Georgia fan. Like they have the SEC thing, but not to the extent that the schools that aren't really contributing their fair share to the conference reputation have the SEC thing. Like Missouri is heavy on the SEC thing.
Arkansas.
And I'm like, what dynasty did you guys have that made this relevant? Florida over there contributed more than you guys. And they're trying to pitch themselves as an academic school now that doesn't even care about athletics. So.
Jameson, no thoughts? Nothing?
No. I got nothing. I'm just leaving it.
Yeah.
It's like talking about a school with rental head coaches. Florida.
Too hot for the hot tub.
All right. Now we begin our 1 hour discussion of Billy Napier. Yeah. Somewhat, I will say through all of this, I just wish there was, I want to see the alternate universe where Ty is a Florida fan right now. It has to deal with Billy Napier. Because I can only imagine
He'd be the biggest Urban Meyer truther.
Oh yeah, and the biggest hater of Billy Napier too.
I would be.
We got him from a sun.
I'll be like, look, Hernandez was never convicted of those two.
All right, that's a Skinner pod.
Yep. All right, folks, that's our show for today. Thank y'all so much for watching on YouTube, listening on your favorite podcast platform. While you're here, make sure to give us a like on our video, or give us a rating on your favorite platform as well. We really do appreciate it. Helps us grow. So yeah. All right. We'll be back next. Well, actually,
NCAA or college football 25. Excuse me. I'm going to call it NCAA over and over. I keep forgetting.
Same. I've been really struggling with that myself. We'll be back next week regularly to talk about NCAA, but we also have our Sooner, the Sooners the Sooners guide to the SEC. We've been rolling out. Try to get Auburn out there. Had an issue with the video, so the people on the podcast feed, y'all understand what's up. But on YouTube, keep an eye out for that. Me, James, and Ty, we're looking through all of the SEC sites, getting our road trips planned. So looking at the things that you need to catch up and see. So make sure to keep an eye out for that on your podcast feed or YouTube channel. So we'll be getting those out once I figure out my technical difficulties with Auburn, and Ole Miss should be coming up tomorrow. So, anyways, for me, Jamison and Ty, this has been the Schooner Pod. Thank you all so much for listening and watching. We'll see you next time to talk about some NCAA. This summer is about to get a lot more fun, isn't it, boys? So,
amen.
Boomers, hey, I saw that.
Why is he doing the horns up?
I don't know.